Tonight's first guests are one of the greatest actors of his generation, a 7-time Oscar nominee, and his wife, who co-stars in his latest film, Wild Horses. Let's take a look.
And you have to hear what I'm going to tell you.
What kind of man are you?
Look who's here.
Pop.
Good to see you. Welcome home.
Texas Rangers.
We reopened a case of a young man who disappeared 15 years ago, Jimmy Davis.
How come I knew that as soon as I heard the knock on the door?
I missed you, Dad, and I'd like to know you better. But I guess both of our hearts are closed. Maybe that's the problem.
I've had that gut feeling for years that everything starts and ends right here.
I want you to stay away from my dad.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Robert and Luciana Duvall.
I didn't know you had a big audience.
Yeah,
That's great.
a lot of people here.
Terrific.
Welcome to the couch.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Now, besides starring in this film, you wrote it and you directed it. And there's a lot of really interesting themes in here that you don't usually associate with a Western, you know, gay rights, immigration. So what about this story made you want to tell it?
Well, we got the script, and it was in pretty bad shape. And she said she would only make a fire with it. So I finally optioned it, and we worked on it. I kept the two things of the gay son and the woman, Lady Ranger, because I wanted to have her in there. I kept those two things, and we worked on the script and finally got it where we wanted it to be, hopefully.
Now, after you threw it in the fire,
Yes, sir.
What about the story appealed to you? And, you play a Texas Ranger who is always kind of pursuing him, but not in the way that a couple might normally be pursued.
Exactly, quite the opposite. I think the chance to work with Bob again, the adventure of trying to, find out what law enforcement is about and how you can, what would look like at the end of this journey. And it was tough, but it was a good experience.
You got a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. She's still at it.
So I got to be nice now.
Yeah.
Is this like racy kind of thing? You bend the arm back?
So do I.
You really?
So do I have to be nice.
Yeah, I've been sparring yesterday, so you can see I've been
I
sparring.
thought I just had to worry about the tango, but is
The scar she's got. Well, no, it's like the tango in a way, because once they're on the ground, Jiu-Jitsu is infinite, like the tango is with the steps. Easy, but really wonderful. But she was great to work with.
I'm nervous now, I got to say.
No, I will defend you.
Okay. She'll
will.
defend me.
Yeah, well,
That's
I'll
much
protect
nicer.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let me ask you about the subplot with the estranged gay son.
Yes.
Are you surprised by how much that issue has changed in the perception of the American people over the last, even just 7 years ago, 6 years ago in California, right? They voted Prop 208, and now 37
Well, this
states?
was theoretically 15 years, and I had a bit of a revelation and came to a better conclusion about my son. We bonded it towards the end.
But in general, how do you feel about the issue, politically? Do you think it's...
Let people do what they want to do, I guess.
Absolutely.
Let them do what they want to do.
If you don't hurt anybody, choose what you want to do. Be happy.
That sounds good. That sounds good. Now,
We don't have to go as far as Bruce Jenner, but that's okay.
all right. I got to be PC. Caitlin.
Is that his name? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now
She
also
looks gorgeous, by the way. I mean, my goodness.
cover of Vanity Fair. A lot of press. Now, immigration. That's also the character, your character, Mr. Briggs, not a fan. He's kind of got a complex. In some ways, he's like, send those people back.
Yes.
But we know that he had a relationship.
Yes.
So-
Go back, because they mean to do some harm, somewhat. But he says to his daughter, he says, call the proper authorities or don't. I'll leave it up to you. So, listen, I have a friend who's a top lawyer in America, great lawyer, right? He has a woman working in his home illegally for 18 years. He doesn't want any queers around. He doesn't want anybody to take his guns. A lifelong Democrat.
But
There's no but. That's it. There's none.
he has her.
Yeah, but the only but is then his uncle is very conservative, and they have similar views in Texas. So they break the laws, whatever.
But don't you think that sort of is a pattern in America, that we sort of have very, very strongly held beliefs, except how they affect us? You know, I don't want it except for my one cousin or
Yeah,
my.
it could be. Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
But now you're an immigrant.
Yes.
I can't quite tell, but the accent, Argentina.
Yes, sir.
So, what is your feeling? Should we? You know, we can't throw open our borders, but how do you feel we should, as a country, address this issue?
You know, I think you should have laws, but I think as a country, I enjoy going to any state because we have a privilege of traveling. We just came from Utah, and there were, in Utah of all places, churches from all over the world that I have never seen. And
Not
I would
just
say,
one,
well,
a lot,
you know, so being able to be in Utah and experience that exchange, or come to LA or go to Miami or any place and have this diversity of people, I have great joy, I can't tell you. And to have that exposure, I think only in America I have had that opportunity.
Not so much in your home country. Right?
No, not at all. And it was randomly, it was something very, like you would see gypsies, or you would see the Mormons walking around in the mountains of Argentina they were not developed. So it was just quite an experience. But here you have that exposure to so many people from so many parts of the world that I found this a thrill. And it's the thing I love about America the most.
You spend a lot of time in the border states, and you know we have this sort of put up the fences, you know, Jar Peo down in Arizona.
You got to have some kind of rules. I mean, you got to have some kind of rules, I think, you know.
One of the scenes that really struck me the most in the movie is when one of the characters says, "How many sunsets have you seen?" And your character says, "It's really how many sunsets are you going to see?"
How many are left? Yeah, and he gives his horse to her. So that's in a way, he knows he's going to die.
Right.
Because my mother, in her old age home, she told the people, I won't be here tomorrow. So I wanted to be a subtle way of saying, I know my end is very near. Take my horse.
So you wrote that, though. Is this something you think about? Do you think about mortality? Do you think about...
Don't you?
When you tell me that she's a jujitsu, yeah, I think a little bit about my mortality.
No.
Just, you know, but...
When I first met her, she said to me, what's it going to be like when we grow old? I said, I already am old. And my father-in-law said, I don't want to call you father or son, he said. And then I came up, my old friend Wilford Brimley. I said, you know, I have a wonderful, I love her so much. He said, she's younger than I am. He said, let me tell you something, my friend, the worst thing for an old man is an old woman.
I mean, he is an incredibly vital, you're 84 now.
Am I?
Yeah.
And
okay. Last year, you were the oldest person ever to be nominated for an Oscar for your performance in The Judge.
The oldest that never won.
Well, yeah, you've got the one.
Yeah, I got one, yeah.
1 for 7.
Yeah.
But you know, screw them. You know what I mean?
No.
I mean, Tom Hagen, Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore, Bull Meacham, screw them.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Those were Oscar
that's
worthy.
okay. It was fine. The guy that won was okay. He did a good job.
Did you like that performance?
Yeah, very much.
Now,
very much so.
did you enjoy the experience of being nominated this last time and going to the parties?
Yeah, I wanted to go. I wanted to show off that beautiful dress she wore.
That
true. Was important.
But, you know,
that was important to me.
We were celebrating 20 years together.
Yeah.
And a long journey. Bobby works a lot. We were away for 9 months or 10 months from our home in Virginia. And so there was a lot to celebrate. He was in a wonderful film with Downey. It was a great experience. Working and promoting these films is, it's a long, tedious work sometimes. And then he directed a film. After 60 years of work, you did 60 plays, over 100 movies. Yeah. I mean, and I'm in this part of this journey with him, and I thought, well, you're nominated again, and why not celebrate, with Sienna? It's great.
Right.
I mean, I always think about this, people talk about retiring, and it seems they retire and kind of actually shrivel before our eyes, Is the secret to being a kick-ass 84-year-old just staying busy?
Just so I don't shrivel before your eyes.
Yes. I was scared of that. Right. I get what you're saying. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, right.
Not good.
Right.
Now, your son is played by James Franco.
Franco, terrific, yeah.
And I read that you were only able to get him for 5 days.
5 days, then I gave him 2 days on a movie he did.
You switched?
Yeah.
Traded?
Yeah.
You got the better part of the deal. You got 5 for 2.
Yeah, but he had a bigger part. But, he has a photographic memory, so that's why he cuts time. So that's why he can do 4 or 5 movies a year.
Why was he worth waiting for? What about James Franco made it worth, saying, okay, I'll work around the limitation?
I don't know.
He's talented. I mean,
he's a talented guy. And Josh Hartnett, too. We got him. And we had wonderful, Adriana Barraza from Florida. I call her, what do I call her? The
Eleanor Dussault.
Eleanor Duvall of Mexico. She's a great actress. And we were fortunate. We have wonderful people. Then they used the real Texas Rangers, you know, and Angie Cepeda from Colombia. She played a Lady Ranger, you know.
Yeah.
And Josh, I mean, I have
Josh is
my
wonderful.
favorite scenes.
Josh Hartnett, yeah.
Yeah, wonderful
it's
guy.
Great to work with.
Yeah,
Very
wonderful.
dedicated and generous.
Yeah, it's a different kind of movie, but you know,
Brilliant.
it's very good behavior and good actors, you know. And when I try to direct, I try to be an extension of myself as an actor. What I would like to be, how I would like to be directed, it doesn't always happen. Where you're left alone and let the director lets it come from them, so I don't interfere. Just let it come from them, because you hire them to do it. So don't say do this. I once worked with a director way back who said, "When I say action, tense up, God damn it." Now that's the worst thing you could say. to say to an actor, tense up.
I think we were to be said, relax, goddammit, because then you'd be like,
it's like you. Like, come on.
right now, ask the question. Yeah, I'm
Roy,
tense.
come on.
What's it like directing your wife? Is it a little tricky? You know, you didn't like the take, honey, sweetie.
No, we don't. It doesn't even get that far.
No.
It doesn't even get that far. She's very smart.
Can
and
you imitate me?
She does things her own way.
You want to imitate me on the set?
Well, what do you do? I forget.
You're very good imitating me.
I forget. What do we
I
do?
don't know. I mean,
Like, that's it.
Subtle, very subtle.
No. She's got a mind of her own, believe me. But that's okay. That's okay.
welcome to the club.
It's like playing doubles and tenors. You know what I'm saying? You're partners. But
Now, for you, though, what's it like being directed by your husband? We'll flip it. You're acting, I mean...
It was, first of all, to get it straight from the beginning, she sleeps with the director, so she got the part right.
That's the reason. That's the reason.
I've read that. Yeah.
Right.
That's the only reason I took the part, really. So. Only director I want to sleep with.
But I could tell you how she, in Argentina, how she does her business. It's very different on the streets, middle-class business mentality. So I didn't have to send her to
Well,
East
it's more
Strasbourg.
than that.
Very-
I think you should give yourself some credit. Bob is very good at allowing you to be in touch with yourself. And it's okay to be with whatever, like there was some scenes that sometimes you don't connect. You know, actors sometimes they come on set and they don't connect with the scene. They're not emotionally connected. And sometimes directors want them to connect with something that is not there. So they force them to do something that is not available right now. And Bob has said it's just fine.
So the opposite of tense up, goddammit, I say start from zero. And you can end with zero. Let the process take you to the result. Don't end with the result. So, you know, just like we're talking now, talking and listening, this simple, people say, well, well, try it. It's not necessarily easy to be like this when a camera rolls, you know.
Well,
To have this type of healthy irreverence.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, let me ask you this. We talked last year.
Yeah, I
and,
loved it. I loved
yeah,
it.
It was great. And it was a highlight of my entire year.
You came all the way to New York to talk to me.
That's
That was
right.
Great.
I did.
It was great.
Robert Duvall, 3,000 miles? Fuck yeah. So we talked about, at that time, you had said, you had done an interview where you said that you thought the GOP was in a bit of a mess.
Here we go. I knew we'd get around to this.
Come on. You know
I knew we'd get around to this.
It's the Huffington Post.
Yeah, no, wait a minute. Let me ask you one thing. When she switched from a conservative to a liberal, were you with the journey, or did she grab you on the way?
I was, you know, let's say this was running for the Senate.
Yeah.
And this is now.
Yeah.
I was like here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So early in the process.
Yeah. So, well, you know, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. I'm so tired of politics. Is so, you know.
Yeah.
There's certain things we can talk about when we finish the interview.
Right.
But you know, I'll vote, but I don't know. It might be even third party. I don't know.
But as you look at, does this strike you as strange? Where like we have like 20 people running already.
That's strange.
Every day it's somebody new coming in. The debates are going to be like 40 people on the stage.
Too much.
I wonder why do you think that is? What's happening, you think?
Well, I think that everybody, you know, wants a little taste of it. And to be honest with you, I think what they do is they up their price when they get a job at Fox.
Good day.
They don't actually think they're going to win.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get your name recognition up a little bit.
On Fox, well, so does Bernie Sanders go on Fox.
Well,
Where does that fit in?
you're going to go, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and people go, what is this yeah thing? I don't even know what that is.
Right.
Let me ask you a quick last question for both of you.
Yes.
Briggs is another in a long line of irascible characters that you play.
Kind of, yeah.
You know, kind of crusty. They call
complex
them this
guy.
morning.
He has his humor. Yeah.
It's obviously more interesting to play somebody who might be called, I don't know, an asshole,
Right.
per se. Is it more interesting to play one?
Well, it's all percentages. 80% asshole, 20% a good guy. The next day it may reverse itself. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I haven't just played Western. One of my favorite parts I've ever played is when I played Joseph Stalin. Very difficult part to play. Very difficult.
What was the percentage with Joseph Stalin?
I had to find some sense of vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I don't read reviews, but the best review I ever got was from Nikita Mikhailkov's father, who worked 8 times with Stalin, and he said I did it okay. So that was a great review. I mean, I don't have to go to a newspaper to read that. I don't have to go to William Holden of the New York Times.
Yeah.
Well, no, somebody who said that you touched the soul of Stalin.
He did. He said I touched the soul of Stalin.
That's a beautiful.
Yeah.
And he's not really irascible or cranky or crusty, right?
Short temper.
Short temper, moody.
Yeah. We're mad.
Short temper, moody.
Yeah.
20 years.
Yeah, it's great.
Exactly.
A lot of
Fantastic.
fun.
Well, thank you for spending this time with us,
Thank
everybody.
Roy.
Let's hear it for Robert.
Roy, thanks. Good to see you, Roy.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click here for more videos.
And make sure to catch new episodes Friday at 9 p.m. on HuffingtonPost.com.